This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Hello, football fans, and welcome to the Onside Kick. My name is Ricky Widmer, and as always, I'm joined by the Mark Weber.
Dub them E's.
And we got a special guest on this podcast for those of you who, because it's been a while since.
It's like Christmas right now.
This is going to be a long intro, so guys, just stay with me. If you guys are new, meaning you haven't been here since we did the 2015 AFC West season preview, you might not know who this is. So he needs to be introduced again. He is a dear friend of ours. He's a dear friend of mine, Skip. His name is Mike Zielinski, but on the podcast, he's known as Lions Guy. How's it going, Mike?
It's going pretty well. Thanks for having me on. Actually, I kind of just barged in.
Yeah, Mike just kind of showed up, like he usually does. Like, hey, you know what? I'm coming into the cast today. It's like, okay, fine. Look,
Even wearing a Lions shirt.
he's wearing his Lions polo today. That is right. And he is the Lions guy. So for you Lions fans who said we need some more Lions insight, here you go.
This is my favorite podcast of the year right now because the Lions guy is back.
The Raiders, you're getting your parade again.
Yeah,
They're getting a double parade. They got the parade last year.
We did talk about that. What is your what would be your record prediction for the Raiders?
Got to go 2 more wins than I predicted. 7-9.
7-9 this year.
Given that parade.
7-9. They got a parade last year at 5.
Yeah,
now they get one at 7 this year. And before we get started, I got to make a quick announcement. If you guys have not seen on the YouTube channel, we will no longer be on SoundCloud after October 1st. If you're listening on SoundCloud to this podcast, make sure to go to Blog Talk Radio / Most Valuable Podcast after October 1st. That is where you're going to be able to listen to all of our podcasts here at MVP. We will no longer be on SoundCloud. But we got a jam-packed show for you guys today. We're going to be talking some Joey Bosa and the San Diego Chargers.
Mrs. Bosa.
And Mrs. Bosa. We're going to throw in Cheryl Bosa as well. We're going to be talking Blake Bortles. Is this
Mrs. Joey Bosa's mom?
Mrs. Joey Bosa's mom. And is this the make or break season for Blake Bortles? And then we're going to be talking some quarterback battles later in the podcast. But Joey Bosa, still unsigned. Chargers haven't talked to him since July. I don't give a fuck. It's been forever. Mark. Is he going to sign? Should he sign? Should he just shut up and sign the contract?
He's going to sign. He knows he's got to play. I mean, he's not going to go anywhere else. The Chargers aren't going to trade him. So I don't know what he thinks is going to happen. I mean, he can go ahead and hold out all he wants, but he had issues where people were questioning him coming into the draft. So if you sit there and you say, I'm not going to play, suddenly everyone's going, yeah, we were right to question your work ethic. We were right to question your abilities, your mental abilities on the field and off the field. So everyone's going to think that this is great. We dodged the bullet and the Chargers are stuck, and then the Chargers are exactly stuck with a guy who doesn't want to play. I think he knows this. He has to just go ahead, sign that contract because he's not accomplishing anything right now but making himself look like an idiot.
I see a lot of similarities with Joey Bosa and the movie Billy Madison. That my favorite quote from Chris Farley is, that Veronica Vaughn. Well, you can change this to that Cheryl Bosa is one fine piece of ace. And then the old lady comes, who would eat 20 sack lunches? Well, role reversal. It's Cheryl Bosa. She wants to eat those 20 sack lunches the Chargers are providing. But the Chargers don't have 20 sack lunches.
No, they don't. And I mean, the only two, like, Mark, you say the teams that passed up on him, the Rams and Eagles weren't going to pass up on him. So it's kind of like, should the Chargers have passed up on him? And Mike, I'm going to say, if you guys have not seen the picture, you got to check out. Just type Cheryl Bosa into Google. You will not be upset with what you find. But
if I was a 50-year-old, I'd commit adultery.
That's what you said pre-podcast.
I'm just thinking that a lot of teams right now are saying, man, if Joey Bosa fell to us, we would have taken him.
Yeah.
So right now they're thinking, hey, I'm glad I got Jalen Ramsey. I'm glad I got Eli Apple.
Well, the Chargers are probably like, what the fuck were we thinking? Like, why the hell did we draft this guy? And the whole reason why they drafted this guy,
J.J. Watt Jr.
No. It wasn't because of that. The whole reason why they drafted this guy, Laramie Tunsil. If what happened to Laramie Tunsil doesn't happen, the picture doesn't come out, they're taking Laramie Tunsil with this pick. And then Bosa,
I disagree.
Probably the Cowboy problem.
I put Bosa before Tunsil just for
I think
they need pass rush.
I think they would have given Phillip Rivers protection if that picture never came out of Tunsil.
Well, I'm not sure how the rookie contracts are structured, but he was a 3rd overall pick, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's the same shit if he would have fell back? Would he have still been holding out as the only first-round draft pick who doesn't sign with another team? Or is it feeling it's just strictly the Chargers?
I think it may be the Chargers, because I think when I look at Joey Bosa, he came from a program like Ohio State where all they did was win, and now he's going to a program in the NFL where the Chargers, they're predicted not. I know in my personal rankings, they've got the Chiefs who are going to be really fucking good, the Raiders who are going to be really fucking good. You may be able to outbeat the Broncos, but probably not even because their defense is really tough. You're looking at a team that's probably going to be, even if you do outseed my win projection of 3 for you guys, you're looking at a team that still could be 4th in that division. And Bosa's probably sitting there going, I don't want to play for these guys. I don't want to play for a loser. I played for winners like Urban Meyer my career in Ohio State. I don't want to play for you.
But my question is, what would the alternative have been? You know, what did he think he was going to get otherwise? Because the only team that really was towards the top that would have been kind of seen as the lucky team is Dallas. And he wasn't going to go to Dallas.
I think that's the team he was hoping for, because up until the Laramie Tunsil picture came out, that was the team where it was like, okay, that's where he could go. He could be going even to the Cowboys.
There's no way at all that Dallas would not have taken Ezekiel Elliott if he was on the board. They want to repeat the formula of success they had just 2 seasons ago. There's not a single player that they would have taken on the entire board besides Ezekiel Elliott. They could have the number 1 overall pick. They would have taken him because he was exactly what their team needed and also one of the best players on the board. I can't believe that he would have gone anywhere else. You know, so I just look at these other teams and I'm like, at what point does he get to a team that he might have been happy with? Is it Chicago? Is it New York, the football Giants? Is it, I don't know, I'm looking down, maybe the Raiders at 14? At what point would he have been like, yep, that's a good team.
Well, where's
I'm
Joey
satisfied.
Bosa's hometown off the top of my head?
I think he's from Florida. I think he's from the Fort Lauderdale area. So neither Ohio nor San Diego.
Yeah.
So maybe he really wanted to play for the Bucks or Miami.
Maybe. The whole thing the biggest thing with me in this situation that kind of mind boggles me is, when his mom goes, well, we should have pulled an Eli Manning. It's like, what, wait a second. Did you just say that you guys have the same amount of power as the Manning family, as the first family of football? You think you have that much power in this league? Get out of here. Get out of here.
Those Italian mothers, though. Sons are number 1.
Well, the Suns are number 1.
Yeah.
Always.
So he's God's gift to football right now. I want to take his talents to South Beach. That way he cannot miss out on Mama's cooking.
Maybe. I mean, the whole thing for me is you don't have the leverage. You're not like, yes, you were good. I don't want to say like you're not as good as you think you are, but when I look at Joey Bosa, it's all about, I'm the best. I'm great. I'm this. And you want that in a player. You want them to go out and think they're the best, but you're a fucking rookie. Just shut up, sign the deal, go play some football, prove yourself on the field.
That's something that amazes me about this too. If you remember his, all the combines and the pro days and stuff, people are talking to him and asking, do you think you're the number 1 player? Should you be taking number 1 overall? And he just pretty much blatantly says, yeah, I'm the best player on the board. I deserve to be number 1 overall. So if you feel that way, I understand where he might think like, I need to get the biggest contract, Antonio Brown style here. But I really think if you think you're the best player, okay, you might not get the best deal out there, but it's probably going to be the 3rd best rookie deal. Just go out there and play. Show us you are the best player. Just go ahead and do that, because that's what you need to do. If you think you're the best, you got to go out there and you got to prove it on this team that might not be amazing, but they're not terrible. They can perform better than they do in recent memory. My biggest thing with this is for, Mrs. Joey Bosa's mom. Why would you make the Eli Manning conversation? Why would you make that comparison? One, because your family's nothing close to the Mannings, but also this is your son's football team, and you're gonna slap him in the face. That is still that will forever be a sore spot in Charger history.
Two things. First off, it kind of like after looking into it just a little bit more, the two exact things that are holding Bosa and the Chargers up is, and I'm reading this from the San Diego Chargers site on SB Nation. No, it's the number one is offset language, and number two, signing bonus deferment. And it's one of those things where that's the little wiggle room. It's like, okay, just shut up and play. And for the Chargers, this is a completely different mindset, bringing the mother back into the conversation, a completely different mindset of a mother that they saw last year. This year, they see the mom that's like, well, we should have pulled an Eli Manning. We should have never even played for these guys or been drafted by them. Whereas last year, Melvin Gordon comes in, his mom wouldn't even fucking wear his jersey because his mom came in saying, you got to prove something to me before I put on your jersey.
And then he didn't. So Mrs. Gordon's not going to be wearing any Melvin jerseys anytime soon. But that even comes to my mind. Like, you have now a totally different mindset of mothers. Well, I mean, it's funny, and I hate to say it as.
Did you ever think we'd be talking about players' mothers on this podcast? I think
actually, yes.
Well, all three of us are in some form of education.
That's exactly what I was going towards.
The parent mindset.
Yep.
Is
it's
fucking
helicopter mom.
I teach in rich suburbia.
Yep.
Holy crap! Do they want to think they're the teacher? It's helicopter mom.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just so interesting to have this mom who, not that this is something completely unique, because obviously the Manning situation, but to have this mom come in and be like, no, my son doesn't deserve this. I'm going to step in and I'm going to give my opinion. Not that she's the only mom to ever do this.
Do you think Joey Bosa, and this is, I mean, digging into a situation we don't know about, do you think that Joey Bosa's I'm going to call him a kid because he is he the kid where it's like, okay, you guys, this is the money you can get offered. Mom, is that a good deal? Should I take it?
Well, I think he's definitely a guy who's getting opinions from the family. I mean, he's got football blood in the family. So, I mean, yeah. I
think his brother's at Ohio State, too,
and
now.
his dad played 2 or 3 years
His dad
up
played.
in the NFL.
His uncle was at least a college player. I don't remember if he's in the NFL or not. But it's funny, though, that they talk about his dad all the time. It's like, your dad played for like 3 years. He had a short-lived career. Joey Bosa, you're risking the same thing because you're making yourself somebody
a fucking idiot.
Yeah, you're making yourself somebody that our teams and franchises are just going to say, no, we don't want to deal with it because we don't want to deal with that family. We don't want your family disrespecting our organization right now.
And I'm going to bring in something. This is kind of because of what just happened this past weekend. I know we didn't get a football game out of it because something with the logo on the field. They couldn't get the paint to dry fast enough. But the Hall of Fame inductions were this past weekend. And one of the greatest speeches that everyone's like, oh, it was a great speech, was Brett Favre's. And when you think back to, I know Brett Favre, quarterback, different position, maybe it's a different generational type thing. And maybe it was because Brett Favre was a second-round pick, not a third overall pick. But I look at, I'm using Brett Favre as the example because this is the one, but there's tons of players that play like this. He even said in his John Gruden quarterback camp he recently did, he went out every snap, even when he was later in his career, every single training camp, every single game, every single practice, proving that I have to reprove myself so that so-and-so doesn't get benched. Because he's like, how did I get my job? I came in for the guy. The guy's like, oh, I'm going to get the job back. He never got it. Joey Bosa needs that same mindset of,
I'm not willing to hear that from Brett Favre, the man who skips OTAs every year.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying Joey Bosa.
No, I get a lot of players do that too. But
Joey Bosa needs to have that mindset. I'm going to sign the contract. I'm going to get to work, try to put a good foot forward for this team because training camp's already started. This is where you as a rookie coming into a new team, this is where you have to build those relationships, and the teams or the players that you're with now are going to be like, when you come in, fuck you, dude. You're the
Yeah.
guy who tried to get more money.
You're only hurting yourself by missing you're missing the playbooks and everything. Granted, you went through your rookie camp, but now that the veteran mandatory was back in June, totally hasn't been there on the field.
Do you guys remember the movie Moneyball?
Yeah.
You guys remember the scene with the scouts where they're talking about like, oh, how's his girlfriend? Is she attractive? No, he must have bad eyes. You know, they're saying that. I feel like that's what this is. If I am a scout on any other team or even the Chargers, I'm sitting there going, this guy's letting his mom do all this stuff. His parents seem so involved.
Does he got a brain for himself?
Yeah, does this kid know how to function on his own, or is he the kid who's just always let the parents, the strong family, take care of all the hard work for him, so he's never had to really deal with adversity because mom and dad were always there for him? That's the question that I have to ask now, and it's not a question I should ask. And people in the comment section are probably thinking it's a dumb question to ask, but hey, mom's the one who's speaking up here, and it's not just a situation where mom speaks up, because moms speak up all the time. They do this type of stuff all the time. Dads speak up, and they say things all the time, but you're not going out and performing. And until you go out and you shut me up with your performance, I'm saying I have questions now.
Last thing I want to throw out there, and this is, I'm looking at an ESPN article where the headline of the article reads, "Why the Cowboys won't and can't trade for Joey Bosa." The question I'm going to throw out to you guys, is there an outside team? If you are a team outside of the Chargers who likes Bosa and it's like, you know what? We can get him to play for us. If we bring him in, we can get him to play for us. If you're that GM, you're the John Elway sitting in the top of the front office, do you make a move to try to trade for Joey Bosa and get him away from the Chargers?
You might be a team right now that's sitting there going, you know what, if all they're worried about is this signing bonus and when it gets paid and stuff like that, and you're sitting there going, we got the money, we can just pay it, we can do it right now, we can do it up front if that's what he wants. Maybe you're saying that, but I can't ignore the fact that I know contract disputes happen for all kinds of players, but I can't sit there and say, you're a rookie, I want this issue right now. Because right now I'm saying, hey, you're stubborn as hell. I don't think I want this guy who's stubborn as hell and who's making this kind of or his family's making these disrespectful comments to my organization, bringing up a really difficult time in our history, something we're still feeling the pain for, as Equal Manning has 2 Super Bowl rings for New York. I just don't want anything to do with it. It just doesn't taste good right now. That's really what it comes down to.
I personally would not, because with this mentality right now, I'm all about the team.
So if the Lions said we're going to try to trade for Bosa, you wouldn't be happy?
We got nothing to give up. But
You can give up Matty Stafford. I forgot Matty Ice is in. That's the Matty Ice in Atlanta, but you can give up Matt Stafford.
so you'd give up Stafford to replace Phillip Rivers.
I guess that's all. I guess that's all
Yeah.
you got, right? Though.
I mean,
Give up for-
on the fan perspective, like, yeah, my team has Joey Bosa all of a sudden. I'm thrilled about it because Joey Bosa is a great player. But
Like you said, the
For team
potential
chemistry,
next
he's a
JJ
fucking
Watt.
cancer to his team right now.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just right now it looks good. Until he shuts up and starts performing, he goes to practice, I don't like it. But it's the kind of thing where as soon as he turns that around, I'm sure we're not going to really remember this at all.
Yeah. It's
But he just
something
needs to
right
get to that
now-
point.
It's just something right now where it's like it's a huge deal because you're not playing football. And you guys down below, whether you're on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, let us know down below what you guys think.